Hi guys, how's everyone doing? Um, Hi, how are you? Matters are rising. I want to be able to pin this. Hi guys, good evening everyone. It is my absolute pleasure. Oh, you can't hear me. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, put a thumbs up. If you can't hear me, put a thumbs down. So you guys can hear? All right, dope. Dope. Someone said they couldn't hear. Hi, everyone. You guys are welcome. Thank you, Toby. Um, let's see. FALZ, hopefully. FALZ is in full-time superhero mode right now. So hopefully he will hopefully he'll be available. But how's everyone doing? If you guys went out for the protest, let me see your peace sign or your fist. Actually, let me see your fist. Put a fist in the emojis. If you've been part of the protests, um, yeah, let us know. Let us know what's up, and also tell us where you're calling, where you're watching from. That's also important. Um, um, Tell us if you know the protests where you are have been good, if they've been safe. Wave, wave, wave. Let me wave at everyone. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Hey, so Pessy, I think that's how to say that name, is online, protesting online. Thank you. Uh, let's see. Who else is here? Waiting for FALZ to see if FALZ is gonna be. FALZ is here. FALZ is gonna come in the crowd. 1 second, guys. I want to go to my WhatsApp so I can send FALZ a message. So just hold on. I'm back. Safe mood. You are in Benin. How was Benin today? I saw some videos that were very disturbing. Um, I saw, I think, 2 people that were shot and somebody that lost their life. I was trying to get to protesting online from the US. Titilayo from Dakar, Senegal. Shout out to you. That's amazing. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for standing with for the youth. Let's see if I was here. As soon as FALZ comes in, let me know. Let me take. We have one request, and let's see. Oh, you requested, and I tried to add you, and you ran away. Anyway, we're waiting on FALZ, guys. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for spending your data. You guys know what Enough is Enough is about. Enough is Enough have been in this struggle for years. They're actually one of the organizations that recruited me very early on in my career. They let me know that, look, MI, you can use your platform for something bigger than yourself. And the whole team, Sherwin is amazing. Yemi, I can't say enough about Yemi. Like, Yemi is like my mother in activism. She's just truly an amazing person, hardworking, passionate for Nigeria, working tirelessly behind the scenes through this whole protest. And I remember one comment, she said this is a 10-year journey for her, 10-year struggle for her. So thank you, Yemi. Thank you, all the amazing superheroes that are doing so well. Are doing so well. We're still waiting on FALZ. Give me 1 second. Let me go check. Waje is here. I think FALZ should be here in a second too. But Waje is here. Hey Waje, I want to know if I can have you on at the next one of these with EIE. It's just a conversation. It'll be me interviewing you, asking you questions. If that's cool, please put the peace signs up. You know what I mean? Waje is also another person quietly working behind the scenes. I know today, for instance, she was at the protest ground. You know, not everybody really go protest ground, they post pictures. She walked in quietly, you know, did what she needed to do and left. So many heroes, man. So many heroes. It's been very humbling. This whole period has been very humbling. Rosetta Amadi says, thank you guys for holding it down for us. We need change. Thank you, Rosetta. I wonder where you're calling from. Maybe you could leave you're tuning in from. You could leave a message and let us know. Hope you're tweeting. I know Instagram doesn't give us the endsars emoji, but yeah, that would have come from iOS. But endsars, endswats, and smiling and stuttering when we ask you questions. We want to see change. So we're waiting on FALZ, guys. Please, and on his behalf, I want to say FALZ has been very, 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 very busy, very active all day. There we go. FALZ, the bad guy, is in the building. I am going to add him right now, and there we go. Hey.
What's up, bro?
Let me play your superhero music, bro. Bum, ba, bum, ba, 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 bum, bum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. Hey, what's up, bro?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I did, man. I mean, thank you first of all for taking the time to talk to EIE. I remember one day in one of the groups we're part of, Yemi said this is a 10-year struggle. So shout out to people that have been doing this. Shout out to DJ Copy. Copy, I see you. Thank you for coming down from where you are. Bro, I don't want to waste your time.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a few questions, see where your head is at, and just, you know, there was a topic they gave me, but I think that the topic sort of picks itself in these times. You know, why? I'll start like this. It's so much easier for you to not do all these things. I remember when I spoke to you about your album that came out, Moral Instruction, and we are talking about it. I was like, bro, like it's so much easier to just make Bedu. You know what I mean? Why do you care? You know what I mean? You don't have to be here. You schooled in the States. You could be in Yankee. You could be, you know what I mean? Why do you care? Why does this matter to you so much?
For me, it's I mean, maybe that's in a way an advantage. You know, the fact that you mentioned I schooled overseas, and so I've sort of existed in an environment that really works. So coming back is like the contrast, and it's even more shocking to me how everyone seemed to sort of be comfortable in that state of chaos, if you like. And so this, all that is happening right now is a huge surprise, but I'm excited. You know, it's like a moment I've always been waiting for. You know, the moment of uprising where everybody would just realize that we've been subjected to so much oppression, you know, on all levels, in all ways. But I'm happy it's happening. It's long overdue.
Yeah, I mean, this has been one of the things about this moment has been only people that are authentic can speak. You know, if this hasn't been your vibe, you know, the streets will call you out quick. You know what I mean? If you've not been on this, they call you out quick.
Yeah.
But you've always been outspoken. Sometimes the reaction isn't positive. I remember, you know, you made a comments and everybody turned against you at that period. And I was talking about Banky. I was talking with Banky about this, and I was asking, how do you, in the position of leadership, not of the protest, but just in a position of influence, how do you bounce between moments where people support you, like, in, you know, the wind is in your sails, and the moments when, you know, public perception is like, hey, you know, this guy, you messed up, or we don't like what you said, or, you know.
It gets crazy. It gets crazy, but you know, as an artist, you have to sort of be prepared for the worst. You know, these sort of situations will always come up. Just be ready. You know, whatever. As long as you're an opinionated person, you know, you just have to hold your own. It would always happen. It would always happen.
Mm, mm, mm. Amazing, man. How did you see all this happening the first day that you went out to protest? I remember I was so sick. I drove out. When I got to there was traffic by the bridge. I was coughing in the car. I was like, nah, this is not right. I shouldn't be out and coughing, especially with the COVID gist and everything. I shouldn't be out and coughing. So I went back home and I
It's not
just
COVID.
watched them. What?
I said it's not COVID, cha.
No. I'm asthmatic and I went to Jos. So yeah. so so I was just watching everything from home and just seeing everything happen. And in that moment, like when you were leaving your house that morning and going out to go do this process, go join up in Runtown, did you see what that would be here?
I didn't. Honestly speaking, I didn't see it. At that time, it was like, okay, it's enough is enough. No pun intended. Like it's we we don't try. Like we've been mumu for so long, for lack of a better word. Like we've just been there, and it was time to take to the streets. You know, let our grievances be, let our dissatisfaction show. And I was so excited when I saw the tweet from around town saying, okay, you know, you'll be leading a march. I was so excited. You know, I hit him up. I was like, yo, bro, for real, oh. Because you know how marches, you have to be sure for real, oh. See, I want ginger. We know we go. He said, yeah, we'll go now. So I put out my tweet and I said, you know, I'll be moving out with Runtown as well on this day, you know, to protest against police brutality, police harassment, extortion, and all forms of, you know, misconduct. And when we came out, we marched all the way to Onikon. And just as we started marching, maybe we started with like less than 100 people. At the end of the day, there were so many, thousands of people. You know, that was the beginning of something. That was a moment. That was when I realized, okay, something is happening. Every single day since then, the crowd has continued to grow and spreading all over the country. And today is Owerri, tomorrow is Benin, the other day is Ogbomosho, Abeokuta, and we're not telling those people to go out. They're just springing out on their own. And you know, that's the most peculiar thing about this movement. Nobody's heading it from the top. Nobody's saying, oh, come here. Everybody is just taking to the streets. People went to Alausa, people went here, some people went to Airport Road, you know, some people in Abuja came through. It's from everywhere, man. And I think the people are just realizing that together we're strong, and it's mad. It's just like, it's so exciting to see, man.
Yeah, so you've been on a lot of these calls, right? With you know, the calls that didn't happen, the calls that happened, the calls that people will never hear about. What is your general perception from two things? The first of all, the level of competence, like just generally when I remember I got on the plane one day, and I got in. The pilot was my friend, so he came out and they said, "Oh, your state governor is here at Taraba State." I didn't know who the governor was at the time, so I just turned to greet him. So this is a son of Taraba. Spoke to him, shook his hand, maybe took a picture. But you know how all these governors are, they would have taken out all the business class and like the first 3 seats in the plane. And I just looked at the guys and I just said, there's no hope. Like, bro, like no, there was not one guy that
Mm.
in that group of maybe 10 men, and it's always like all men, you know. So in terms of in the facing with these guys and all the conversations you've been, what's been your perception of their competence and then also their realization of the moment that we're in? Like, are they aware of what's really happening?
Man, I think that they're starting to realize. I think they're
Mm,
starting to. It's a big, big movement. It's a big movement, and how you know is reactions. I'm actually genuinely looking in the news and I'm seeing stuff. Okay, they've done this. They've done. Oh, so they can do this. Okay.
mm, mm.
Oh, so this one is possible. You know, say you feel run out. You know, can't run out since. Now, enter street, you can't know say you go run out. That's until we put this amount of pressure. Before we heard that just last night, they set up. Now, on the state level, it was meant to be on the federal level, but because of the failure, which is why I wrote that letter that I put out yesterday, because of the failure to properly constitute the Human Rights Commission, these cases of violations of human rights couldn't be probed into on the federal level because
Mm.
somebody somewhere refused to reconstitute the Executive Council, sorry, of Human Rights Commission. So anyway, with all this noise, all this pressure, they've announced that on the state level, they're going to form a judicial panel that will properly investigate and make sure that, erring officers brought to book. So you can do this. So you can set up judicial panel. Okay, well, we have asked for our 5 for 5, and we are sticking to 5 for 5. So all those demands must be met. All protesters that were arrested must be released. All peaceful. I don't know if everyone been released yet. Do you know? Do you know?
Yeah, I think the problem with the protests is that they've been playing games, right? So, like with the story of the guy Ayorinde, right? I mean, one day the story will come out of all the amazing people like Nelson from Citizen Gavel and Tayo and the work they've been doing. Tola, sorry. But I remember, like with that story, it really shocked me because they went to the station and they were like, "There's somebody here," and the police officer said, "There's no one here like that," and they said, "No, no, no, there's someone here." And when the story came out, they said one of the cops had stepped on his head and he had crushed his teeth. He had messed with his dentition. Bro, it's crazy, bro. So I think that they were hiding the story just because they didn't want to be embarrassed, right? Eventually, after 3 days, they now brought this boy out. 3 days. So this boy, and the funniest thing about this is that a lot of the people that get arrested are not people that, apart from the girls that have friends that immediately identified them, gave their names. A lot of sometimes it's the street guys, people that are standing by the side of the road that get arrested. They don't have names, they don't have ID cards. When I read about like the story in Oka and some of these stories, bro, now horror film, bro,
So sad.
like
So
the worst movies I've watched in my life, like Hostel. Like Hostel is a messed up movie of the human centipede. Bad reach waiting they happen for Nigeria for like East. That police man, bro, is something else, man. It's something else. I started answering. I'm supposed to be asking you questions, and I started talking.
real. You reach like vex. It's so disheartening. It's so disheartening. And like I was saying, now it's scrambling and making announcements. But we need to see action. It's not just about announcement. And now we've woken up, and this is the mistake they made, allowing us to wake up. But maybe not a mistake because now we can find our way to the promised land.
Yeah.
They've allowed us to wake up, and now I put up a video yesterday, just doing a bit of digging, just trying to see what's going on in this whole thing. And I started finding some things. I found out there's something called the Police Trust Fund, where some certain monies are meant to be going into. How is it that we have such a formula for setting aside money, but then the police is still so poorly funded? They're still so poorly paid. Police stations, horrible conditions. We can't even start.
I want you to break that down a little bit because I do want you to. I know that one of the things that you've really shown us is shout out to Kida Codes, shout out to Arole, shout out to there's some people Emanara's in the building. Shout out to everyone, but I just want to identify some of the people that are showing up. Please break down the police trust fund. You spoke about two percentages. You said there was one, I think it was 5%. No, it might have been 0.5. I don't.
Yeah. So okay. So basically 0.5% of all the money. There's something called the Federation accounts. That's the Nigeria's account, the biggest pool of money. 0.5% of the total. So 0.5 is okay. No,
Yes.
percent.
Yeah.
0.5% of the total money should go into this police trust fund. The second thing is 0.05% of the net profit of all companies operating business in Nigeria should go into this trust fund.
So like
That's
when you
the
register a business, you're
Yeah.
supposed to put some money. If you make profits at the end of the day, when your taxes and stuff, some from there money goes to that trust fund.
That trust fund, yeah. So we're finding that there are funds like this that exist, but does it really get to the police? Today I heard another one. They said there was a new announcement today by the Minister of Youth, that there is something called a youth fund. That 73 billion naira has been set aside for the youth. Where the youth fund is? Because we did street since now, all these funds they come out. 73 billion. Where is this since? Youth there, they starve. People don't get work. It's rough. Today, I saw a letter. There's so many things are surfacing this period. I saw a letter from a member of parliament in the UK asking her own government. So I don't know who's in charge of this in the UK government, but asking them, saying there's something called the Nigerian Security Fund, something, through which they send money to a certain police unit here. I think they said anti-kidnapping police unit to protect Nigeria, to protect Nigerians from kidnapping and all this stuff. So there's a Nigerian Security Fund coming from the UK. Where is the fund? If the only reason they mentioned this in this letter was because the UK government, that member of parliament was saying to them that it will not be nice if it comes out that the UK is supporting a certain unit in Nigeria found guilty of human rights violations.
Wow.
So that was what they were saying. If they were not even saying this, we would not even have known that there is a fund called Nigerian Security Something Fund. Where the money? Now we need to start holding people accountable. We need to start challenging them. If you reach to go their house, may they produce the money, because it's been like, it's frustrating, it's too much, and it's been happening consistently for so long. That's why people are angry. That's why people are still in the streets. It's crazy. It's really crazy, man. It's really crazy. But all these things will still enlighten people, because people now need to wake up more. I was even trying to talk to a few learned colleagues, see if we could form a group and start going at people head on, because if you don't challenge them, they won't come out to explain. And maybe in a way,
count me in on that, bro. Count me in on that, bro.
Yeah. And maybe in a way, embarrassment is the only language some people might understand. If you've been elected into office, or even if you weren't elected but you were appointed, once you occupy public office, you're not a master, you are a servant. So you should be serving the people. You should be accounting for what they put you there to do. Not that us will be afraid to challenge you. Oh, if you even talk to them anyhow, they will get you arrested, they will lock you up. Bro, they are serving us and not the other way around. So people need to start being re-educated and reoriented and enlightened, and we need to be braver. So that's what I was saying. I'm trying to assemble a team. Let's start asking questions. The other day I was talking to someone. They told me that there's something called, in Lagos, something called the Commissioner for, I think, Environment and Drainage Affairs. Bro, you're dead. And there's a Commissioner for Environment and Drainage Affairs. You know what I'm going to do? Easy, bro. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fetch the water from the gutter in front of my house.
Take it to the bedroom.
I'm going to go and put it in front of his house.
In buckets.
And I'll leave a message there that you should sort it out. Because why every time it rains, every time it rains cats and dogs in Lagos, our cars are swimming. It's ridiculous.
Bro,
I've never
not
been
be
to any
cat and
city in
dog
the
rain.
world.
Small rain.
Any city
Small
in the
rain.
world, I've never
Chihuahua
been.
rain.
Yeah.
Chihuahua rain go scatter somewhere. Like,
Bro,
so,
small
like,
rain. No.
bro, small rain. Somewhere somebody's suffering because of like, bro, it's
I've
crazy.
never been to any country in the world where I go see say the Waka for road flood day for 2020.
Bro, I'll tell you what's so crazy. Eh? They try to make it like, oh, like Nigerians. Like one of the craziest places I've been in my life. I was in Newcastle for a night. I saw the craziest people after a football game. But by 4 a.m., because I was taking a train back to London, by 4 a.m., you see people came out and they start cleaning up. Like these guys trash the city center. And that's what good governance, like in terms of like the ability to generate GDP, the UK shouldn't be touching Nigeria. They don't have as many people as we. They don't have as many natural resources as we. I mean, apart from the evils of colonialism that they did, and that gave them an economic head start, Nigeria should not be them. Well, we should not be mates at all. And I think that's part of what the thinking is now. For everybody that's on this live, there's 3,000, almost 4,000 people here. For all of you to realize that if you just look outside your window now, everybody just stand up and go to your window and look outside and just realize that it doesn't have to be this way. And the only thing you need to consistently do is you need to consistently speak. That's all. That's all you just need to do. You need to consistently speak.
Yeah. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's talk about it. Let's challenge them. Know your rep. If I ask all the people for this comment section now, who is representing you in the House of Representatives on the National Assembly level? Who is representing you? A lot of people don't know their reps, but you're allowed to contact your rep directly because they are the lawmakers. That's the legislative arm of government. So they're in charge of making the law. And in terms of this police issue, for example, I've also been finding out some new things. Apparently, there's a law that prevents you as a judgment creditor. So that's someone that goes to court and wins a case, and the other side has to pay you a certain amount of money. So as someone that wins a case for breach of fundamental human rights, you cannot go and enforce the judgment without the permission of the Attorney General. And the Attorney General is the prosecutor of every case. So he's the one that you have just defeated in court. And you have to go and ask him for permission for him to pay you compensation as a result of that judgment.
Yeah,
So
let
if
me ask you,
for example, you may be able to push the National Assembly to be able to amend this law. You know, because that's the legislative arm of government. They're in charge of making laws, they're in charge of amending laws. You know, so if there's a law that's redundant, if there's a law that just doesn't make sense anymore, because that happens over time, you know, laws become stale and they shouldn't apply anymore. It is those people. Do you know how much those people are collecting? Let's not even open that chapter.
bro,
They play with us, bro. You reach to vex, so
bro. Look, I want to ask you a question about. I remember when I moved to Lagos.
Yeah,
police would arrest me every time. I just had that JJC vibe. They just like, hey, come and enter this bus. In fact, when I see them, I would just start adjusting my bag to enter the bus. Like, okay, I know this guy when I will catch me. And it always did my head in that they could search your phone, they could do all these things without a warrant. I don't know if you're up on what in our constitution needs to change to protect citizens more. The way a police officer can't just based on say, I don't like how you look, or I don't like the car you're driving, I can stop you over and search you and mess up your day.
I'll tell you what. For the most part, majority of our laws are concise. Majority of our laws are solid. They are strong. It's me that's just telling a lot of people about all these things, because if you don't really actually study law, if you're not like a lawyer and you don't have specific expertise in that area, you wouldn't be familiar with these laws. So you may not really know. It's information. It's just knowledge. We just need to know. Majority of our laws are very concise. The only thing I would say is maybe if we all agree that we want to go for state policing, so where the state government as opposed to the federal government is controlling the police force, that would require some amendment to the constitution. You know, that's a bit more. It's a bit more of a complex scenario, but it's people in the National Assembly that is in their hands
That should be having this conversation right now.
to edit. Like, okay, so we have laws. These guys are the ones that make those laws. They're also the ones that edit them. So if there's something that needs to be removed or changed, it's still them. You know, but a lot of us don't even participate in the process of appointing them, the process of choosing them, you know, because we haven't shown a lot of participation when it comes to politics and voting and all that stuff. But these guys really have some of the most powers, the people in the National Assembly. And that's why they would never pass the law to change how much they are collecting because of their personal pocket. And a select few, I saw something today, I don't know how true, I still have to verify it. I saw like some ratio, like so billion naira for 200 million people, so billion naira for 200 million people, but then another amount of billion, a higher amount of billion naira for 300 and something people. That's basically the National Assembly. So the combined money that they are chopping, I don't know how true this is one is. I have to still verify. I saw, you know, a lot of pictures are going around this period, so you have to verify information. But it's just basically saying that they collect such a ridiculous amount of money that is not for what? To sit down maybe twice a week in the house to debate, and they will be, my brother, well, the matter many, the matter too many, it's too many.
Let me ask you about you. When you did This Is Nigeria, you got threats. I don't know if you've received a lot of threats now, but do you have any concern for your safety? Like you're in this space, you're speaking out, you're ruffling feathers, you know, you're one of the there's no leader of this protest, but you're one of the visible faces, you know. Do you have concerns for your safety, and how do you make sure that you're
my safety, I didn't have safety before. I didn't have safety before. Why? Because I'm a young Nigerian. I don't have safety. As a young Nigerian, are you safe? If you fall ill now, which hospital you won't carry yourself go? Where you know, say equipment they solid, say they go treat you well, you go do okay. If you fall ill now, you guys change your. Let's say you guys change your kidney. No be India, they go fly you go. We don't have hospital, we don't even have healthcare, bro. And if we go to the north, they're killing people every day. Boko Haram, and they've been doing it consistently for so long. There's still no solution to that one. So, as a young Nigerian, do I have safety before that I will now be afraid of dying? Safety no day before now. The safety no day anyway. And my future no day promise, because with it, education, job, and unemployment rate, nothing to write home about. So what I can't want the fear again. If I step out, because I'm a fine boy, because I color my hair, SARS will, if he shoots me, and that's the end of my life. So am I safe in that country that I will now be afraid of dying again? It's crazy, bro. It's really worrying, man. And you know, like I was saying earlier, it was, I think, moving back like right after uni and just seeing how things have just stayed the same as I've ever known. We grew up into this system. We grew up into this, forgive my French, into this fuckery. You know, and it's only become worse and worse and worse.
Man, there's so many young people here. Like, I mean, these numbers are amazing. I mean, you pull numbers all the time, but this is what we're getting towards 5K people, you know. This is amazing. One of the things that we're seeing today, like I saw during the Friday prayers, how everybody surrounded and stopped for the Muslims to pray. That's one of the things that they've used to divide us. And I want to hear your stream of consciousness about that. Like, right now, it's so funny that the narrative that started coming out from the North was that, oh, the North supports SARS, right? When people here are talking about endsars. But the young people, what we're starting to see is that the young people are not spoken for by those bastards. You know what I mean? So I want to hear your thoughts on how we have to think about the new Nigeria as people that are Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, all that.
When we saw those clips of some people supposedly pro SARS. We saw it, you could see it in their faces now.
Mhm.
And you know, some of the comments you'd see under those sort of posts is, whose father is this? Whose mother is coming here to embarrass themselves because of how much, maybe 1,500. And you know, it's in a way, it may not, I mean, you want to be sympathetic and say it's not their fault, because these guys have continued to take advantage of the poverty levels and the lack of education, so they don't fix the problem, because they know that they're taking advantage. They need the people to be like that so they can continue to take advantage of the people. So everybody knew that, what are these ones saying? You know, if you really still want SARS, yeah, come and carry SARS. May they go, may they day your state. You know. But what the kind of spirit, sorry, bro, the kind of spirit that we're seeing this period, like you said earlier on, Muslims prayed by 2 p.m. today. Everybody stood still. Everybody, you know, was there with them. Tomorrow, tomorrow, next tomorrow, like Sunday, apparently they were like, Christians, we're gonna worship together. You know, nobody's asking whether you are Yoruba, Igbo, or Hausa. Nobody cares about, you know, any background based off religion, based off tribe. It's just one Nigeria. And when people used to say, "Oh, we need to separate, we can't exist together," I've never really subscribed to it. You know, I think our differences and, you know, how different we are is probably the most beautiful thing about us. You know, the culture, how rich it is, and you know, just the funny things about, like, I can tease you about being Northern. You can tease me about being Yoruba. You can say, oh, you know, like we make jokes about each other. I think that's what is even most beautiful about who we are. So the day that we can start to look beyond all these things, and the day we can stop telling our children, because if you're Yoruba, no go marry Igbo, no go, like, waiting the other, why are they marrying Igbo? Why? No be the same. Like, it's the most important thing is that we stay together. We look at ourselves as one Nigeria. And that's what's really helping this movement. There's no real division. Everybody's together. Everybody's like, yes, this is a cause that we all agree with.
I have maybe 2 or 3 more things I want to ask. I have been personally, I identify as a feminist, right? And without dipping too deep into those waters, the role women have played in this journey is worth us. I mean, a little bit earlier in the year, we were having a fight, you know, having a social conversation about gender-based violence and gender-based issues. Why time? And when we now see what our women can do, literally through this protest, they're protecting us, they're feeding us, they're providing, they're cleaning, they're leading, they're speaking. I watched FK Abudu's talk on Arise today, where she stopped the reporter and was like, bro, which kind of question you asked me, and restated the question back to him. You know what I mean? Like, I want to also just hear your thoughts about that, the role of women, you know, where you see how society, where we need to go in that regard also.
Yeah, funny you ask about it, because you know, we're talking about it today, feminism, and you know, just the whole concept of it, and we're saying how it's probably one of the most poorly named words in the English language, because it seems to suggest in favor of the woman, but the movement is really just one about equality. It's just about equality. Women have been the oppressed gender for so long that it's now has to be a movement to get her to be on an equal slate. And if maybe it could have been renamed, maybe it should have been called equalism or something, you know. But like, so a lot of people have misconceptions about the concept. Everyone should be a feminist, because there's so much patriarchy in the world, in the African culture especially. You know, there's just so much patriarchy, and because of this, the people that get to the very top, the politicians, the people that get to rule us, they will still always be men. Old men, for that matter. You know, they will still always be men. And we don't even have enough, we don't even have a proper balance. When we look at gender, look at the people at the very top. How many are really women? Look at people in the National Assembly. How many are really women? And we know that definitely women are way better organized. Look at what's been going on with this entire thing. You know, you mentioned FK Abudu. and her entire crew. I know she's working with a lot of people. They're assembling funds. They're putting everything together. They're making sure people are released. They're providing food, water for protesters. They're so organized. Every single day they're giving updates as to the funds. This is how much we spent today. This is how much we have left. Bro, the accountability,
dog. Did you see somebody said something on at the Lekki protest
on
someone
stage,
said
yeah.
they should. So I was seeing the Twitter updates. Then I now went and saw the actual, like on their website, the actual accounting. Bro, this accounting now like World Bank standard accounting, bro.
It's crazy, bro.
Like every single person that's donated, every single out there for you to see. I'm like, man, so we have this level of proficiency
It
in
can
this
be
country
done.
and we're holding
It
it
can
back.
be done. It can be done. These people don't just get sense. They don't get sense, and they don't put person we go fit do am. They don't even believe say woman supposed day on top. Talk less of say enter government. They know they still get some culture where they don't even believe say women supposed to talk when men they talk. Like all this ridiculous stuff. It's crazy, man. It's a complete overhaul that we need, but it has to be a step at a time. It has to be a step at a time, and which is why I feel like we should all try and stay focused. You know, at the beginning of this whole piece, we all kind of aligned on this 5 for 5, and everyone sort of shared it because I think it covered generally what everyone was thinking and what everyone was worried about. You know, releasing the protesters, make sure there's justice, compensation, increasing police salary, you know, all that stuff. If we focus on that and we start to take, okay, they don't do this one, okay, they don't do this one, they don't do this one, okay, they don't take all the 5. Oh yeah, make we face healthcare. Oh yeah, make we face National Assembly. Oh yeah, make we face, you know, but it's a big pool of problems that we are in. So we have to be tackling them because if we not they focused, now so we go Russia and forget we did on this one, we forget say they never still do this one, come back here. Like we have to focus on okay, no, we handle this one. We cannot say okay, this one not finished. Oh yeah, we move to this one. We handle this one's done. We move to this one. You know, like that. Next
How do you manage
electricity? Next one we face fuel price. Next, you know, just like that.
how do you manage being a part of this movement and leading without being a leader? Like, how do you manage that balance? Because I think that's been one of the things that has been so interesting. You know, we've seen in the past where as soon as we identify, say, okay, these are our leaders, they will just call them, enter a room, they go have one kind of meeting, they come and say, okay, sorry, everything is good. You know, by the way, guys, this car that I bought is just, I've had the money since, so it's not, I didn't just get it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, how have you managed? I saw something you did today where you pulled out of a conversation.
Yeah,
Because
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. What I was gonna say is, I think, you know, it's like an old saying. You know, it's what you always hear, but it really makes the most sense. You know, if you think about it, the best type of leading is leading by example. So what you would like to see, do it. You know, so for me, at the very beginning, that's why I was like, I don't really think I'm seeing this. See, to see that drastic change, we go need enter streets. So I knew on that very first day that protest had to happen. There was no going back. There was no canceling. It was there. We had to make it happen. So that's why I beat my chest and I posted there. I said, okay, I am going out to protest on this very day. And you know, with everything that I want to see, I'll do for myself. You know, that's the best way to lead, by example. And even though, like you said, there's no specific leader, but whatever it is that you want to see, do it first. You know, that's what I really believe in.
What do you see as the next steps? And I don't want people to think I'm asking a question, not as to suggest for you to suggest or give a guideline for what people should do, but just you personally, with all the knowledge you have, what do you think the next couple of weeks should be? I mean, let's say the government sits up next month or whatever, you know. How do you see this?
What I would and my advice will not even go to the people because they're not the ones that are owing us something. It's the government that is owing us something, and my advice will be to them. But this is where my own head is at, because I figure that's what you're asking. This is where my own head is at. Our demand, our 5 for 5 demand, Now waiting day on ground now. The people have said to you, government, now waiting they want be this. You are saying, oh, please leave the streets, stop it. If you want them to leave the streets, you know what to do. You know, they don't tell you, say, now waiting. It be like when you call somebody, say, oh, I did your house, so I know they come out here. You they owe me money. I don't tell you, say you they owe me money. You know you are supposed to pay me that money. And if you don't pay me the money, I will not leave your house. So go and bring the money now. So at this point, we've already told them this is what we want. Yeah, they made the announcement yesterday. They're going to set up a state-by-state judicial panel to look into all these cases and make sure that justice is served. We are waiting. Make them the broadcast down for TV. Let's be watching it live. You know, like an Oputa panel type thing. Let everybody be watching it to be sure there's no mago. This is the internet age. This is the internet generation. So make them don't worry. As long as our person did that panel, they go to stream them live. They go to stream. We're going to watch them. We have to see that everything actually happens. Transparency, accountability. But before you now show all these things, I mean, I guess they go hand in hand. What the government really needs to do is to restore the people's confidence in it.
Are you gonna ever run for office?
I have no plans for that. I have no plans for that.
But what did the people say?
Based on the now humanity, bro. Like I told you, when I first moved back, it's just like, what did it happen? What is going on? Having the privilege, I guess I would say, to exist in a different space where things actually work. You know, when you're born into a certain system, you don't really know any different. You don't know any better. You don't know you get anywhere well, if you never traveled before, you know, they say you get anywhere they get 24 hours light. Until you go there, exist there, and see that, electricity is actually a basic amenity. Food is actually a basic amenity. Healthcare, being alive is actually normal and my right, my human right. Wow. You know, bro, so that was the basis of, you know, the entire all this ginger.
Yeah. Last year I was in America. I went on tour. I was there for I think you either went right before me and you just left. You just came back right before I went on tour. And at the time I was there, I said to myself that so I have a pretty okay life, you know, in Lagos here. I'm blessed, you know. But I said the poorest guy, like a homeless guy in America, a homeless guy would be able to get police attention and get an ambulance quicker than the richest guy in Nigeria. So a homeless guy, if a homeless guy collapses by the side of the street and somebody's like, yo, somebody's collapsed, and they pick up the phone and they dial 911. Yo, we have somebody that's collapsed out here in the middle of the street. Worst case, 3 minutes, ambulance is there. 3 minutes, wherever you are in America. If you're in the woods, they will send a helicopter to you. It cannot take 24 hours for a helicopter to get to you, to airlift you. You know what I mean? Our friends are working in healthcare. So what you said is really, really real, man. Yeah. I mean, FALZ, I want to say, bro, 5,000 people here on the call, on the live. This is all you, bro.
It's great to see, man.
On behalf of EIE, I wanna thank you so much for taking your time. But also, and I want to say so in front of all the 5,000 people that are here, I'm in a couple of forums with FALZ. FALZ doesn't sleep. The march that we did, I think on Tuesday, we were there early, you know, helped organize. It looked like people didn't want to march, you know. At the end of the day, we ended up finally, it was like me, you, Banky, we're like, look, if there's going to be a few people, let's go. We started marching. Before we knew it, like, it's like the Avengers movie. People started showing up. Square showed up. Like, oh, Wajir was there too. I gotta say it right. Wajir was there too. Yeah. And then Darren,
I think I saw Techno, I saw Kiss Daniel.
Yeah. People started showing up. We started walking. We got there. The person I was with, when we started walking, was like, bro, we know the go house. Because he also knew I was sick. So he's like, we know the go house. I'm like, bro, like, we walked there, we walked back. When we got back, I was laughing at him. I was like, bro, you never believe say you go walk from. You go walk from.
Monica.
Yeah.
I'm back.
But the point is, So we're done. Around like 3 o'clock, area boys start disturbing me. I go to my car, I drive back home, take medicine, relax. I I go to the group. We're solving problems, talking back and forth. I think someone got shot that day. We're trying to get medical attention for the person, but going back and forth. And then like 8 o'clock, I remember I was like, "Yo, FALZ," so, and you were like, "I'm still there." No, someone said something. You were like, "I'm still at the protest ground," and I was like, "Dog, what the heck?" You know what I mean? Like, so
Yep.
hey, Jazzy in the
Yeah.
building. Shout out to Don
Yeah.
Jazzy.
Yeah.
But I want to say thank you, bro. I want to say thank you, number one, for your leadership in music that you create, the art. I was so blessed and proud to be part of hip hop when that album won the best rap album. That
Thank you,
album
bro.
specifically. I want
Thank
to
you.
thank you for leading by example, for being somebody that has, the integrity to be able to speak up. And also thank you to your father too, because your father is one of those influential Nigerians,
Yeah.
but he's a
Yeah.
different breed. When you think
Yeah.
about the influential
Yeah.
Nigerians, there's one breed that's popular, but your
Yeah.
father and you are able. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for
Yeah.
being opinionated, and I want to thank you for taking the time. I know you are busy even today. I want to
Yeah.
thank you for taking the time. On behalf of 5,000 of us that are here, you mean so much to us. We love you. Like, when this is over and that next album come out, we streaming it like crazy, bro. You know what I mean? We streaming it
Nice
like
one, brother.
crazy, bro. Yeah, nice
Nice
one,
one.
bro.
You don't
And,
overwatch me this night. Nice
any
one, bro.
last
Thank you
words?
so
Any
much.
last words?
Thank you for having me. It's always mad talking, man. It's always mad chatting. So nice one, brother.
Yeah, nice one, bro. Please
Appreciate it, man.
tell them how good I am at football, by the way, please.
Yeah.
Tell them.
MI is actually a superstar. He's a superstar when it comes to football. All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you. I will screen grab that last part. All right, nice one, bro. God
All
bless
right,
you.
my
Thank
G.
you.
Nice one.
Thank you to everybody that came out. Jazzy, there's so many celebrities that are on live. Everybody that came out, thank you so much. FALZ brought a huge crowd. If you can, guys, if you're going to be serious about changing this country, follow this handle, EIE Nigeria. They've been doing this work for 10 years. Since that first protest, they've been doing it. So follow the handle. Please follow the handle and stay abreast with all the stuff that they're doing. You know what I mean? Let's not just be in the moment, get excited, and walk away from this thing. If we're serious about this, we also need to connect with platforms that are fighting to make Nigeria a better place.
I'm doing the
Thank you,
Lord's work.
guys. God bless you. Good night, everyone.
All right, brother.
Peace. Peace. Good night, guys.